Welcome back to Friends Are Weird, your place for weird news and even weirder friends. I'm Joey.
And I'm Stone.
Stone, tell me what you got this week.
All right. First up, Trump's trial heats up as a radical centrist celebrates 420 a day early and blazes it in front of the courthouse to show support. Then, all of the king's horses and all of the king's men probably won't put a red double decker London bus back together again. And the wealthy elite who go to Harvard have a Necronomicon, and it's just a matter of time before they use it. Lastly but not leastly, the Cybertruck is recalled for a pretty hilarious reason. Joey, what you got?
Well, this week, Stone, I've brought to you Weekend at Bernie's Rio de Janeiro style. We're to talk about that other stupid thing Marjorie Taylor Greene said, and then I'm going to show you the newest trend in home self-defense.
Cool, cool. Now, before we get into today's episode, I'd like to do a little mental health check with you, Joey. Just want to see how you're holding up. I know it's been a rough couple weeks for you, and I've been in your shoes, and I know the grieving process is long and hard, and I'm here for you. You doing all right, pal?
I'm doing okay. Are you referring to the fact that I keep shitting my pants?
No. I mean, that's like just a regular week for you. I'm referring to the
Oh.
fact that your favorite athlete, actor, author, and TikToker just passed away, Mr. Orenthal James Simpson. And I know that's got to be pretty rough for you. Just want to make sure that everything is going all right. It's important to do these mental health checks. You doing good, buddy?
Yeah. It's been hard. I never imagined. We all knew that it would end. I never imagined what life without the juice would be like, and now that we're living in that reality, it's a cold, dark place. But I know that he wants me to live on, and unlike his wife, I'll do that.
That's pretty insensitive to the guy that he also killed.
They never talk about him.
Yeah, they really don't. All right, so let's get into it. Trump's trial is probably the funniest but least interesting thing on the news these days. Simultaneously, nothing at all is really happening. Nothing's gonna happen. He keeps threatening witnesses and threatening the jury and demanding that his supporters show up and, January 6th, the courthouse and storm it. He's pretty upset about all this happening, and he can't even be happy with the fact that a dude just fucking lit himself on fire in front of the courthouse. Uh, Now, I assumed like everyone else, I just had to change my script, so I made a lot of jokes about MAGA weirdos and how they're a death cult. But I just found out today that he was actually a radical centrist. He was a bipartisan conspiracy theorist who he blamed crypto and Elon Musk and Trump and accused him of being in cahoots with Biden. He's just one of those really weird uh what do you call it? The follow the rabbit hole QAnoners. He's
Mm-hmm.
just probably one of the weirdest ones that I've ever heard of, who definitely, like, in his manifesto that he spread all around right before he set himself on fire, uh he's one of those guys that is like both sidesers, like a like a Joe Manchin type, but way fucking hotter.
Mm-hmm. That sorry, go ahead.
Are you laughing at this guy unalighting himself, Joey? That. I mean, okay. So self-immolation is probably one of the funniest types of protests there is, especially when you're a bipartisan conspiracy theorist. Um, and to do it outside of this trial of all things, like out of the four criminal trials that Trump is currently dealing with, this is easily by far the least important. Uh, everyone already knows he's 1,000% guilty of it. That's why there's not even MAGA people showing up to protest, except for this fucking weirdo who scared the shit out, like completely scarred for life, like four CNN employees that were just standing there. Did you watch
I
that video?
I have, and I was actually going to send this in our politics group chat. There's a photo of the two reporters, the woman reporter, and then maybe it's her cameraman or something like that. It looked like it was out of a Key and Peele skit for a second. I was like,
It
oh my
did.
god, like it was
He
uncanny for.
he looks like, what's his name? That comedian from Portlandia. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, yeah, I
He
do.
he kind of looks like him, like the guy with the
Yeah,
glasses who was just standing there shocked. Like
yeah.
it totally reminded me of like you and I have watched a couple of videos that have just completely scarred us for life, like semi intentionally. Like, remember when we watched that ISIS beheading video because we're sitting around smoking and like that came
when
up on the feed and we're like, oh, let's watch this, and we were just like not ready for it to really be an ISIS beheading video. And it was over in like not even 10 seconds, but by the time like he had already been halfway sawed, and we had the same looks on our face as watching that video. And like, of course, it was CNN. Like, they were just covering the most inane, boring, stupid shit details about, like, they're just trying to fill 24 hours of airtime with their
have,
bullshit. They're like, and of course, like any other criminal trial, there will be a jury and a judge and a court reporter taking notes. And then all of a sudden, there's a guy on fire 20 feet away.
I
Like,
think
holy shit, there's a fucking guy on fire.
what's so jarring too about like that whole thing is that reporter, whether it was from the shock or the trauma or whatever, just went into reporter mode and was like giving a play-by-play of what was happening. And now he's on fire, and now he's ablaze, and now the police have shown up with fire extinguishers. Like a
Just going
perfect
through a
play-by-play.
just going through a complete thesaurus of like different words you could use for self-immolation.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious, the transition. I mean, like, yeah, it's tragic. The guy was clearly mentally ill, as all
have
self-immolators are.
have you had a
But
chance to check out his Instagram?
no way.
His his I won't say like the whole name of his Instagram because I don't know, don't want to like draw attention to it or whatever, but I just think it's funny. Like his Instagram bio is in parentheses all the dipshit secrets of the rotten world. And it's weird if you go back and you kind of look at what he posted up until really like the last up until like May 10th. So just a quick timeline. May 10th of 2022, he posts about his mother dying. Super sad, super tragic. Prior to that, everything on his Instagram page is very normal, very everyday person. Pictures of his wife, of hobbies, of traveling. Totally normal dude. Mom dies May 10th. And by July 16th of 2023, he's going on about how Bitcoin is the largest bonsai scam, and that the New World Order is ready to take over because of cryptocurrency. That's a majorative of what his manifesto was about, was how dangerous cryptocurrency is and how the world is going to be doomed by the blockchain.
I mean, he's not wrong. That's what I hate about fucking conspiracy theories, is because it takes you right up to the edge of like being correct. That, like, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously a secret cabal of evil fucking people are ruling the world. Like, it's not even a secret. They do it openly. Like, the Republican Party openly fucking supports it.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's always like right up to the line of being correct, and then a hard right turn to it's so fucking insane. But despite the fact that there's literal fucking people on fire right outside of the courthouse, I mean, obviously Trump is pissed that it's not a January 6th style storming of the Capitol. Like he's waiting any second now. They're gonna come in and rescue me, and I'm gonna go into hiding and rule rule the United States from an offshore island. But he keeps fucking falling asleep during the trial too. He keeps falling
Yeah.
asleep and farting. Like
Uh-huh.
just the weird every day when I check YouTube, like there's always weird details about the court. And it's like they're treating him like the mother character from that Mad TV sketch with Stewart. Like they keep threatening that something's gonna happen if he threatens one more witness or threatens the jury. Like now, Stewart, you can't threaten to R-word the judge's daughter, and then he
and,
goes
and
out and does it fucking anyways. Like during
and
recess.
Trump's just like, look what I can do, and then shits himself.
Yeah, just shitting himself, just like falling asleep, and everyone around him, like I completely feel for them too, because my dog has the worst goddamn farts, especially come bedtime.
Oh yeah, and
And I'll
so
just
does your
hear,
roommate.
like as he's falling asleep, I just hear, and it fucking kills every
Yeah.
goddamn time. But yeah, this is a president who's running for the United States, calling his opponent Sleepy Joe as a nickname. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they're like really, it's obvious he fucking did it. Like literally, his ex lawyer already went to jail for the crime that he's like. This is pretty much just a formality, and it's such a boring thing. But the media circus, I mean, they're trying to make this the next OJ. I'm sorry, I know that wound is still fresh, but they're trying to make this the next OJ trial, and it just isn't. Like when you're reporting on the defendant's farts, there's kind of really nothing to see here.
Yeah, and it's just crazy times that we live in, and your story of politics kind of leads me into to my story. Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out and said yet just another incredibly stupid thing. The fact that
What?
this woman, what, the fact that this person is a representative of the United States of America is just absolutely wild. So, House Speaker Mike Johnson released the text of the two aid bills that would send a total of about $95 billion to Ukraine and Israel. And Green, who's leading a charge to oust Johnson from his position as Speaker, immediately introduced three amendments to the bill on Wednesday, one of which would set aside funds for freaking space laser beams. What she is referring to, however, is the Iron Beam, which is part of Israel's defense system, a part of the Iron Dome, which is not really necessarily a laser beam, and it's also not in space either. It's a ground laser guided system, not some Star Wars laser system shot up into the moon or shot up at the moon. Is there
Like,
police by you right now?
oh yeah, I committed a lot of crimes right before we started recording. So when they kick in the door and come take me away,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Uh,
sorry about that. I can't do
no, th-
anything about the emergency services.
how dare they interrupt our podcast? But basically, the development of this space laser technology would be to protect the southern border because Mexican immigrants need to be toasted by space lasers because there's nothing else that we could possibly do other than spend $1 billion on a freaking space laser.
And see, I thought that she was like opposed to the Jewish space lasers. So like, isn't that a thing that she also said like 2 years ago when the
Uh
entire
huh.
country was on fire? She was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we all know who's space laser." Like, she didn't even like dog whistle it. She just straight up called them Jewish space lasers, which
Yeah.
was already fucking wild. It's wild that now she's on the side of it and she's trying to get that like passed within bills. Like literally Israel could do anything and the entire Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate, like there's no red line that Israel could cross. Like they're literally committing a fucking genocide right now, and there's no way that our funds are gonna cease to stop going there. But now she's trying to like direct the Jew space lasers at our southern border. Like, like I don't know. It's silly and contradictory how much like what conservatives or the right at least thinks about the Jewish people. Like it's just so wild. Like the vast conspiracies by it, and they still wonder like why everyone calls them Nazis. Well, because you talk about the Jews a fucking lot. like like for people that are offended by how much everyone compares you to Nazis, you talk about the Jews a little too much for
Yeah,
comfort, and
yeah, and
it's
and
it,
even when you strip that away, it's if it's not the Jews, it's immigrants. If it's not immigrants, it's redheaded gingers like myself. Everybody's a hater, and
and
yeah, fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene.
usually when it's the immigrants, it's like the southern immigrants, but because of Jews. Like it all comes back to them. They just can't
It's all.
stand to not be chosen by God the way the Hebrews and Shebrews are.
Well, that's what I have on Marjorie Taylor Greene. What do you got next?
So this is one that I had to add right before we started recording. All 7 of the king's horses went on a rampage today, injuring 5 people who they trampled on in the streets of London. The horses and the riders were performing an exercise, one of the many royal palaces around London. When Jesus Christ, that is like right outside. There's a fire truck literally honking right outside my fucking house.
Maybe they're
Um,
telling you to evacuate. Maybe your house is on fire.
it is kind of warm in here.
Yeah.
It's probably the drunk lady that lives right across the street from me. Occasionally, she'll get like super drunk and just call 911 just because.
Oh,
Like, I swear to
as we
God,
all do.
they've been there fucking 50 times this year alone. Not even joking. It's
Jeez.
usually at like 3 in the morning though when they show up. But yeah, no, that's really fun that that's happening right now. I
Yeah.
would not be surprised if that's what it was. Although I am surprised that those sirens and shit were actually heading here. I was just joking about that before. Anyway, so 7 fucking horses that literally belong to the King of England. They were doing some kind of training exercise at one of the many royal palaces around London. When some nearby construction spooked them, they all tossed their riders and took off in this terrifying stampede into rush hour traffic. And these blood-soaked beasts, like literally, there's videos of like this white horse soaked in fucking blood. Uh, They're all trampling pedestrians and cars. One of them literally totaled one of those double-decker buses, like ran
Jeez.
smack right into it and fucking shattered the front of this bus. And these horses, like, there's videos from all angles of this shit, just horses in London, like, and apparently there were cavalry horses, which is surprising as fuck. Like, doesn't the British military own tanks? Like, don't we sell them tanks? Uh, I don't understand why their military needs horses, but there were indeed military horses owned specifically by the king. Uh, and after they were all calmed down and put back into their stables, there's a spokeshorse that apologized and said that they were just horsing around.
Fair. Fair.
There's got to be at least one homeless guy, though, who for a few minutes felt vindicated, holding his sign that read, "The end is nigh," when all of a sudden these blood drenched fucking horses came stampeding by. Like, that had to have been like apocalyptic and vindicating for that guy that was there. I mean, I'm just imagining him, but I'm sure there was at least one of them.
Well, I mean, for all we know, those horses were on their way to help Humpty.
And see, that is a perfect example. I've been saying this for years. It is so goddamn silly that the king sent all of his horses and
Yeah.
all of his men to put back together this egg. Like, look at the
Well,
chaos and destruction. The probably millions of dollars that they just cost the city of London. And there was just
for an
seven
egg.
of them. When he sent all of his horses, like, you know that he was after Humpty. He was trying to Princess Diana him, but not Princess Kate him, because that's not what they did.
Nice, nice. I appreciate that. Hey, so all those sirens outside of your house, it has me thinking, what would you do in the event of a home intruder or somebody being on your property that just shouldn't be there?
Uh, I'd probably take that little mini crossbow that I have and that I've sent you pictures of myself practicing with,
Oh yeah.
and
Hmm.
I'd shoot them right in the eye, or
Do you,
I'd
do you,
knock on Ryan's door and ask him to bring out his gun.
oh yeah, that probably makes more sense because although you're a great shot, I don't know if you're accurate enough to hit somebody in the eye. But you know who is accurate enough to hit somebody in the eye, the face, the dick? Paint Cam Eve, an armed home security camera with an itchy trigger finger. This home security camera is not just your typical Ring doorbell. It's not your typical flood cam light. It is an AI operated Squid Game style camera that will shoot a home intruder right in the face with a paintball. By using face recognition systems, AI, and automatic targeting, basically just imagine our last episode. We were talking about Trash Boy who was trying to steal Amazon packages. Imagine that dude pulling up just getting pelted with hundreds of paintballs. Now it's not out in production just yet. There is a Kickstarter that you can fund if you feel it. But here's the best part. The company making it, Eve, is very happy to step things up to just another level altogether, and there's an option where instead of shooting paintballs, your home security camera will shoot freaking tear gas projectiles at at home invaders. It's like having a trigger happy squad of riot police just living on your porch day to day.
I'm sure that that's not going to end badly at all. Especially considering that story from our last episode about how Amazon facial recognition technology isn't there and they had to hire Indians. Like, I'm sure if you actually just have a AI looking for home and like I I don't know. AI just really isn't there, and it's kind of racist towards black people. Like, it just kind of sees them all as the same guy and labels them criminals. Like, that's a literal thing that fucking AI still does to this day. Um, yeah, I could see that ending very bad. Plus, this is for like if they're like already in your home, I assume, right? Like, not just your Ring doorbell. Like,
It,
there's
it
people
it's a
that like
it's
have
an
like
outside camera.
okay, so it shoots them on the front porch.
Hmm.
Like, so what about Amazon delivery guys? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. This just sounds like it's gonna end so fucking badly, and in
I agree.
lawsuits. And do you sue the homeowner for the pepper balls that had just shot up your nostrils, or do you sue the company? Like,
Both.
oh,
That there are apparently there will be some fail safes in place. There are settings that you can change based on like time of day, right? Like you disarm it from normal delivery times. You can add recognized faces. So for example, maybe you have a daughter and she's bringing home her boyfriend for the first time. Well, my security camera recognizes her, doesn't recognize boyfriend, and that's just a great
it
way to meet the parents
recognizes
for
a
the first time.
kidnapper and
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
paints his ass. That is so awful. Like, no, we just need to stop with AI. Like, we need to perfect what we've got before we start giving it non-lethal or even lethal fucking. Oh, that's so goddamn awful. Like, I don't trust it. I'm never gonna visit anyone's house again, especially yours, because I know that you're gonna arm that like next week.
Yep.
Like I've seen the receipts. I know you've got one on the way. Fucking psycho.
In the meantime, I'll drop a video to you for their prototype demonstration. It's pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna buy one, and I hope none of you come to my house ever again.
No, never. Well, I'm probably gonna tunnel in, so
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna have to put that inside. And
that's fair.
well, you're just gonna have to risk turn it on and possibly injure yourself and your family, or just deal with the fact that I am getting in your house through the floor.
All right. Well, what you got next for us, buddy?
Are you familiar with the little old learning institution called Harvard?
Never heard of it. No.
Well, it's the alma mater of 8 U.S. presidents, and
Mm.
it's the cream of the crop in terms of
Which ones?
learning institutions. I couldn't
Okay.
tell you. I just
Oh.
did a quick Google search to write that down in my script, and I'm lazy. And thank you for calling me out. I'll try to be better. So I've never met anyone who went to Harvard, but I've seen them depicted on TV, and they notoriously won't stop telling you how important they are for having gone there.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that it probably has the reputation as the best school there because they teach necromancy. Uh, I don't know if they actually teach necromancy, but they do have a Necronomicon. It just came out that there's a book in their library bound in human skin.
Oh.
Some fucking French weirdo published a book about the human soul in 1879 and bound it, of course, without the consent of the woman he skinned for the cover as a medical student. Uh, Back then, medicine consisted of prescribing cocaine for the ghosts in the blood of your patients.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so primitive that doctors actually believed that the soul was like a real physical, tangible thing that people had. So he was writing a book about the human soul for medicine, of course. And one of his patients, while he was like an undergrad doing their medical program, he she died, and he fucking skinned her ass and made a book out of it. So they've they've like, since it was revealed in 2018 that they had this book, they've at least had the decency to act ashamed of it. They're like, yeah, we do have the Book of Souls, but you're not allowed to just come into our library and read it, okay? Like, we have it put away. But people are like really demanding that they cremate it or fucking something. Like, you shouldn't just have this evil fucking thing in your library. You're
Well,
fucking
yeah.
Harvard.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta put that thing in its final resting place. That's how you get ghosts in your school.
do you want ghosts, Lana? That's how
That's
you
how.
get ghosts.
It's funny that you quoted Archer because were you saying Mancy with an N or with an M?
Mancy, obviously. Every single Ivy League school though has similar shit. Like, both of the Bushes were literally part of a fraternity called the Skull and Bones, where part of the initiation involves jacking off inside of a coffin with the remains of Geronimo. And like, it's lit like the CIA literally pulls these psychopaths from the Skull and Bones. Like, it's why HW was picked to be part of the fucking JFK assassination, because, like, oh, you could keep your mouth shut about what you did in that coffin, what we all did in that coffin, like, you could be trusted. So I mean, it's nothing new, but it is weird to fucking find out about. Yeah, apparently they've got a Necronomicon at fucking Harvard.
Well, I mean, I've jerked off with my friends too in weird places, but I couldn't kill somebody. I don't.
Yeah,
It's yeah. Huh.
Yeah, it's fucking
Huh.
ridiculous, but yeah,
Fucking
that's
Harvard.
my yeah, fucking Harvard,
Fucking.
man.
It's funny. I feel like everybody. You see two types of people. You see the person who went to Harvard who won't shut up about it, and the person who just wears a Harvard pullover sweater because it's in style.
Then you see the people that went to Harvard and don't want anybody to know about them because they've read the Book of Souls.
Because they've seen the book, they've read the book. Well, I'm excited to share this last story with you. A woman brought a man into a wheelchair into a South American bank and attempted to take out a loan in his name. Totally normal. This woman claimed that the man, identified by police as 68-year-old Paulo Roberto Braga, was her uncle, and her uncle simply wanted to sign papers for a $3,200 loan. It wasn't until bank tellers started to get suspicious about the smell and the fact that this man was incredibly pale that they realized that he had been dead for at least 2 hours, and this woman was trying to weekend at Bernie's him.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. That's a classic bit. Hell yeah.
Apparently this isn't the first time this has happened, because two women were charged in a similar case in Ohio back in 2021, where they brought in their dead roommate through a drive-through bank teller and tried to take out money under his bank account.
What?
But yeah. As of right now, police are still investigating the man's cause of death. Again, they say that he'd been dead for at least 2 hours, or roughly about 2 hours. But could you imagine? And there's actually video of it circling around social media where this woman's like trying to prop his head up, like in the wheelchair, like, "Come on, uncle, come on." Oh, he's so silly. He's just sleeping. He's just tired.
No, tell the nice teller lady how alive you are. You're totally alive. That's fucking great. Oh
When
my god.
what One of the best parts is in the video itself. You hear what, and granted, this is like some of it's like in Spanish and stuff, but one of the because this happened in Rio de Janeiro. I don't know if I said that or not, but one of the bank
Okay.
tellers, you hear them go, "I don't think this is legal. He doesn't look very well." Yeah, because he's dead.
Yeah, well, if she just had the sense to like puppet his mouth and be like, "Listen, lady, I'll give you a portion of this to just fucking do this withdrawal." Like, goddamn, you got to give her a little cut on the side to look the other way. I mean,
That's
there are
well.
ways to make this happen.
I'm just saying,
Duh.
but for $3,200, you're gonna violate a corpse for $3,200.
Well, I mean, were you was this in U.S. dollars or Brazil dollars?
No,
Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it
different
was in Brazil.
economies have different.
That's
You
fair.
know,
That's
like you
fair.
could literally go to the Bahamas and live like a king for what you're making today.
That's
Like,
fair.
like literal royalty, and you could have your horses go and trample everyone. Then you could use all of their bodies for an extra 3,200 apiece.
You're onto something there, buddy.
Yeah.
Tell tell me about your next story.
So, lastly, for me, I had to rewrite this script a couple of days ago because there's been a couple updates, but the Cybertruck has finally been recalled because of a very flimsy piece of plastic covering the accelerator pedal that it breaks off and causes the accelerator to stay in place, stopping it from like springing out. And this is such an unsafe truck already. Like, it's literally not allowed to be sold anywhere in Asia or anywhere in Europe, maybe Eastern Europe, but like anywhere in like the European Union at least, because it just doesn't pass any safety standards over there. Because it's way too heavy, it doesn't have a crumple zone. But now it turns out the accelerator pedal gets stuck because of a flimsy plastic cover that covers the pedal. And I think it's fucking hilarious. Like, it's made of stainless steel that literally is like rust prone. Like, anytime a bird shits on it, it fucking leaves a rust spot. You have to like fully dry it off if it rains. And it just looks so fucking stupid. ironically, this ugly monstrosity, considering like consisting of nothing but sharp corners, uh, had a lot of corners cut in its production and design. Uh,
Nice.
it's an unfinished fucking. It looks like a PS1 vehicle. Like
Oh
it,
yeah.
it and yeah. To now, everybody who's been on the waiting list, who's still like 5 years away from getting it in the first place. Now they're probably literally never going to get it, and this will bankrupt Tesla most likely. Uh, Elon Musk just keeps fucking up everything that he touches. He's like a reverse King Midas that touches something and it turns to goddamn dog shit. Uh, but I thought that was pretty funny.
we
Luckily, no one's died because of this fatal design flaw, but
hmm
and it took like a week and a half after this was discovered for them to even recall it. Like at first, they just stopped delivering it, and that's why I had to rewrite this part of the script.
mm.
Most of the story was how the fuck are they just not delivering it, but also not recalling it? But
we knew the Cybertruck was going to be a piece of shit when they had like the initial unveiling and the demonstration, and Musk is like, and it has bulletproof windows, and he still ends up managing to break the window.
like with a baseball.
Yeah.
and, and that's not the only Tesla vehicle too that's been having problems. Like literally just about a month ago, Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law, she's this Chinese billionaire. She was driving her Tesla and had some kind of malfunction that caused it to back into a pond. And because this vehicle is all electric, and like even the door handles are electric, there's no mechanism to like mechanically open the
Oh
door.
yeah.
So she
Uh-huh.
accidentally like it's probably the accelerator pedal got fucking stuck and drove her backwards into a pond, and she couldn't open it because it's all electric. It fucking killed every system in the car. And within hours of this happening, like she drowned, of course, a terrifying way to die, but she's a billionaire, so her life doesn't
So
matter.
fuck her.
Um, yeah, and she's related to Mitch McConnell by marriage, so you know she's probably read the Book of Souls. Um, Fucking within hours of this happening, though, Tesla released this safety video for their consumers. Like, if you ever find yourself in the middle of a pond in your sinking Tesla, don't worry, you could totally get out. It's this easy. And they had this like Tesla mechanic like rip off the side paneling of the inside of the door,
Mhm.
and and like there is a mechanical way to open it. Like, you know, it's like any other car. There's like a bar that kind of
Yeah.
pulls apart, but it's like behind the speaker, and it took this guy like 10 minutes of like ripping out the door panel, like pulling out the speaker, completely just fucking up this car.
All things you
And
can
then
totally do
and
while
then
you're
he
drowning.
he could yeah, while you're under the pressure of drowning. And
Jesus.
like it showed him like he had to like struggle with it too, to like pull out the pins to fucking actuate the door and make it open. And like after literally 10 minutes of him fucking struggling, after just clawing through this door, but I mean like calmly because he's not drowning, after 10 minutes of that, he finally manages to pop open the latch, and he's like, and see, it's that easy. Teslas are totally safe.
Totally safe. It's just that easy. Well, goddamn. I thank you for sharing that with me. I have hated Tesla and Elon Musk for a long time now, and watching him slowly fall and crumble amongst the weight of his own ego has been one of the most enjoyable pleasures of my life. Stone, I want to ask you, whose story, who do you think brought the weirdest story this week?
I think it was my horse one. On if I'm
Hmm.
being totally honest, I think it was the
Okay.
horses.
That is a
All
pretty weird one. I
yeah. How
think
about you?
I think my weekend at Bernie de Janeiro, Brazil is just a little bit weirder. I think we might have to have the fans vote on it.
I think we should. So if you think that, a boring old Weekend at Bernie's story, we've all seen that movie before. If you think that that's weirder than horses running amok, I mean, vote for
Ooh,
Joey,
yeah,
I guess. But I
horses
mean,
being horses. Ooh,
well, I mean, they were horsing around pretty hard, and they were doing it where they weren't supposed to,
they were, they sure were.
and that
Well,
is so fucking weird.
I think both stories were pretty hilarious. Now, depending on who is voted as the weirder story winner of the week, that person gets to make the loser do something embarrassing and shameful on next week's episode. So make sure you tune in for that. Stone, anything else for our fans, all 19 of them out there?
I just want to say that if Joey loses, I'm gonna kill him and Weekend at Bernie's him, make him free all of the King of the United States' horses and have them run where they're not supposed to. I'm gonna blame it on his corpse. So
Well, well, damn. If I win, I'm going to make you self-immolate yourself outside of Trump's trial.
yeah, well maybe I will. With a violently centrist position.
Bitcoin is bad.
Yeah, everyone knows, asshole.
Well,
Well, cool.
this has been Friends Are Weird. I'm your weird friend Joey,
And I'm your weird friend Stone.
and we love you to bunches. Kisses, kids.
Love you, pals. We'll see you later.